It is done. It is signed, sealed, and delivered. The 49ers and quarterback Brock Purdy have agreed to terms on a 5-year, $265 million extension, according to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero. Purdy will get $181 million in total guarantees, including $165 million in the first 3 new years of the deal that will run through 2030. Brock Purdy is paid. We felt like this was going to happen. It always felt like they were going to go down this road. The Niners have loved Brock Purdy. He's been really good for them. But now, my opinion as a bettor, this kind of takes away their cheat code that they've had for the last couple of years of having a productive quarterback on literally the cheapest contract a drafted player could have, as Mr. Irrelevant is now one of the highest paid players in the NFL. Won't affect them this year, but I think down the line, this will definitely affect the 49ers in their team building strategy, as it feels like right now, 2025, probably the all-in season for the Niners before this band breaks up due to this Brock Purdy contract. Your initial thoughts, PJ, on the Niners inking Purdy to a $265 million contract?
I mean, my initial thoughts are that Brock Purdy's getting paid more than Lamar Jackson. So, that's some kind of contract right there.
That's a good thought.
I'm happy. I'm happy as a Ravens fan. But, yeah, look, I mean, in the NFL, we know when you're dealing with quarterbacks like Brock Purdy, who's not a consensus top 5, obviously, maybe even top 10 quarterback in the NFL, these are the decisions that these organizations have to make. Do you want to pay a guy who's been productive, who's been a very good player for you, who's not one of the top tier players? Do you pay him all this money? Your Cowboys had to make that decision with Dak. We saw Jacksonville have to do that a couple years ago with Trevor Lawrence. So the 49ers have decided that Purdy's their guy. And if there was a team to make this decision, you think a team coached by Kyle Shanahan would be a pretty good team, right? A guy who works with him every day to know if this is the guy that should be our quarterback moving forward. The contract is insane, Femi. But again, that's what the quarterback market demands nowadays. You bring up a great point, though. We know in the NFL, the time to strike is with as a team is when your quarterback's on a rookie deal, right? That's why we've seen Washington make these moves this offseason to get Laramie Tunsil and get Deebo Samuel and get all these guys to help build around Jaden Daniels before they have to give him a boatload of money. So now we'll see where San Francisco goes from here. They had to get rid of a bunch of defensive guys in the offseason. They had to get rid of some of their offensive players as well. So we'll see what happens with Purdy. I mean, we know when it comes to San Francisco, when everything's right and all their guys are healthy, and he's got Trent Williams playing left tackle, and he's got CMC out there, and Ayuk's good to go, and Kittle's healthy, and he's got all his guys, Purdy's a good player. But I know your problem, Femi, with Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys, is when you're getting paid that amount of money, you shouldn't depend on a certain guy to be hurt to depend on you still producing for the team. And that, to me, is what it's like with Brock Purdy. Like, when everything's good, he's good. But if guys are injured, when you're getting paid that amount of money, you better be able to elevate the other guys around you to still play at a high level. So it's a tough spot when you're a team like this. But yeah, I think I don't know if I would have made this move if I was San Francisco, to be honest. For this amount of money, I get you don't want to be one of these teams that doesn't have a quarterback. But again, you have to ask yourself, if you're gonna pay a quarterback that amount of money and guys get hurt, can he still elevate others around him? I don't know if Purdy can do that.
Yeah, fear is what drives these negotiations. I think it's fear of not having a quarterback, fear of not having a competent quarterback, because teams, like every team in the NFL damn near, except for maybe the Green Bay Packers, like it's been a while since they've had a bad quarterback, and then they'll go from Favre to Rodgers to now Jordan Love. But like for most teams, everyone has kind of experienced what it's like to not have a guy. It sucks. It stinks. You have no chance, and the offense can't function. But that does not excuse just paying all this money to a guy that's solid. I don't even know if Brock Purdy is like a great quarterback or even a very good quarterback. I'd say Brock Purdy is like a solid quarterback, just like how Tua Tagovailoa, a solid quarterback, Jared Goff, a solid quarterback. And that's the range where Purdy's being paid. So I guess if you're Purdy's agent, and I would be arguing the same thing if I was that guy, I'd be like, yeah, like Tua, Like Trevor Lawrence, those guys have never had seasons like how Brock Purdy has had. 2 years ago, Brock Purdy was in the MVP conversation until he kind of wet the bed against your team on Monday night on Christmas against the Ravens. Yeah. Like he might have won MVP if not for that game. Like that's how good of a season he was having. So at least he has shown that he can do that. But once again, my whole thing with these quarterbacks getting paid that money is all those guys around him helped in that as well. And not saying that the quarterback must do everything, because every quarterback gets help. Even Patrick Mahomes has Travis Kelce, although Travis Kelce is now declining, which is why their offense is probably declining a little bit despite having the best quarterback in the league. But like every quarterback needs some kind of help. It's just that, can they elevate the other guys? Like, can you actually build a roster if you're going to pay them? Dak Prescott, highest quarterback in the league right now, $60 million. Like, has he lived up to that contract? No. Like, he's got only like a few playoff wins. Like, it's not really living up to $60 million. Joe Burrow, yeah, he's been to the Super Bowl. He's been to an AFC title game. I'd feel comfortable paying Joe Burrow $55 million. Josh Allen, he just won the MVP. I'd feel pretty comfortable paying Josh Allen $55 million. In fact, he won the MVP in the season after trading Stephon Diggs. Like, that's what we're talking about when we say elevate the guys around you. Josh Allen did that last year. Jordan Love, let's see if he can do that. But like Lawrence, Tua, Goff, and now Brock Purdy, I don't know, man. Like, those guys, to me, feel like they're replaceable. Like, it does. Like, just to be honest, like we just saw a season. If your infrastructure is right, if your situation is good, you can get Sam Darnold to lead you to 14 wins. We literally just saw it. And for some reason, these teams, the fear of not having a guy just overwhelms them to such a degree to where if you're as good enough to just complete passes from the pocket, buddy, you're getting paid as long as you stay healthy. And Brock Purdy is now the guy that's getting paid. But you know what? This season, like, the Niners are in line for a bounce back. Now, going forward, kind of think they're screwed. Like, if this is what you're doing, you're kind of screwed. You're not going to be a Super Bowl contender beyond 2025, but at least in 2025, from a win total standpoint, when you look at their schedule, like, I do think the Niners have a good chance to win the NFC West. And I'm saying that as Mr. Ramley, captain of that family. Like, I think the Niners are actually a really, really good bet to make, and there's a reason why they're the favorites to win the division.
Yeah, and look, you bring up a great point. These teams certainly, they fear not having a quarterback, and I think especially San Francisco, Femi, because do you remember that time period when they had kind of a Brock Purdy type, right? A Jimmy Garoppolo, who was a solid quarterback. He wasn't great, but when he was in there, they won games. Jimmy gets hurt.
Yeah, went to the Super Bowl.
Went to the Super Bowl, exactly. And then Jimmy gets hurt, and you would think, oh, it's Kyle Shanahan. They got all these weapons. They'll make it work. It doesn't matter if it's Nick Mullins or it's whoever. They'll find ways to win games, and they were awful. It didn't matter who it was. If Garoppolo wasn't under center, they couldn't win games. So I think John Lynch, I think Shanahan, I think this front office, they're like, look, if you gave them truth serum, they'd tell you Brock Purdy probably isn't a top 10 quarterback. But they win games with him, and they have been through it together when their quarterback has gotten hurt and they weren't able to win, that I think they were comfortable enough to give Purdy all this money. So, yeah, I mean, look, great for Brock Purdy. An incredible story. The fact that, he was Mr. Irrelevant and now he's one of the highest paid players in the NFL. But yeah, Femi, I mean, this is my thing, man. Now you're paying him all this money. We know San Francisco was a veteran team. They're in win now mode. And he's just shown us throughout his career, like, if McCaffrey's not healthy and he's going to have Ayuk out for a majority of the year and they're going to rely on some younger receivers this year, and even though Trent Williams is really good, he's not getting any younger and he's probably going to miss some games this season, what are they going to look? So they do have a favorable schedule, for sure, one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. You would hope that this past year, was kind of their year where they caught the injury bug, right? And maybe this year they'll get a little better luck in that term. But it's tough, man, when you're in these spots with these kind of quarterbacks that like aren't top 5 level QBs, but you don't want to be in a scenario where you just like are searching for a QB consistently every single year, right? Like, ask the Steelers, ask the Saints right now how they feel, ask the Giants how they feel about their current situations.
Yeah, so Brock Purdy is now being paid like a top 10 quarterback. Like, do you actually think he is? Like, we can go through the list of the teams and we can say, like, is Brock Purdy better than this quarterback? So the Detroit Lions, they had the best record in the NFC last year. Like, do you think Brock Purdy is better than Jared Goff? Yes or no?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, we're not off to a great start if you have to hesitate. The Niners just gave the $265 million, and I'm not even saying that you're wrong to hesitate, but that's what we're dealing with. And they just paid this dude $265 million. And I ask you, is he better than Jared Goff? You're like, ooh, let's see. I don't know. Like,
I would take I think I'd take Goff, Femi, to be honest with you.
We're not off to, like, it's like there. So you think I think he's better than Goff. Like, I think Goff is like obviously Ben Johnson helped out quite a bit, but that offensive line was like top tier. So I think Purdy could do exactly what Goff did in that Detroit Lions system.
Agreed.
So I will say he's better than Goff, but it's not by much. Do you think Brock Purdy is better than Jalen Hurts? What about that one?
No, I do not. Again, I think Jalen helps from the fact that he plays behind a great O-line and a great offense, but I'd rather take Hurts, I think.
Yeah, I'd rather have Jalen Hurts as well than Brock Purdy. What about Baker Mayfield? Do you think Brock Purdy is better than Baker Mayfield?
I do. And I know Baker's had an incredible last couple of years. He's also had two really good coordinators in Canales, and now Liam Cohen's off to Jacksonville. Look, he's got a good receiving core too, right? So Baker's had some help in Tampa Bay. I would still take Purdy, though, at this point. But again, that's another close one.
Yeah, I would lean Purdy as well. Like, I think they're kind of similar to me, but Purdy's younger. I'd lean Purdy, but I think it's a close conversation. What about the Matthew Stafford? Is Purdy better than Stafford?
No. Stafford, even at this point in his career, would still take Stafford. Femi, I'm going through it. I think there are only 6 quarterbacks I would be comfortable paying this contract to of 5 years, 265. There'd only be 6 quarterbacks. It would be Mahomes.
Who are they?
It would be Mahomes, Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, C.J. Stroud, and Jaden Daniels. Those would be the only 6. I wouldn't pay Hurts that money. I wouldn't pay Herbert that money. I wouldn't pay Purdy. I wouldn't pay Dak. I wouldn't pay any of these other guys. Those would be the only 6 quarterbacks where if this alert popped up and it was so-and-so is getting 5 years, 265, I could say, okay, I think that's a good deal. Outside of those 6, I think that, it's an overpay for all these quarterbacks.
Yeah. And those are the 6 guys that we all, I think, consensus opinion, they elevate their teams. Lamar Jackson elevates the Ravens. Josh Allen elevates the Buffalo Bills. Like Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he elevates the entire NFL. Like, he is the NFL. He elevates that. Like C.J. Stroud, even him. Like, Houston Texans were terrible. They had a top 5 pick. They get Stroud, they've won the division back-to-back seasons. He has elevated that franchise. Jaden Daniels, like probably the prime guy, the prime example. Commanders were horrendous. They'll go to the NFC title game in 1 year with Jaden Daniels. Like, those are the guys. Brock Purdy is not that. If Brock Purdy is drafted by, like, the Cleveland Browns, he's probably fighting for his NFL life right now. I'm assuming that the cream will rise. Like, he has talent, and I don't want this to be all like Brock Purdy's terrible. No, like, I think he's a solid quarterback, and he is one of the great stories in the NFL. To go from Mr. Irrelevant to being a competent starter, like, that's a really good story. But we're just dealing with the facts here. They're now paying him among the elite players, and he is not that. That's the problem for the 49ers. And like from a betting standpoint, as bettors, we always talk about value. Where's the value? You don't want to be buying high and selling low. You want to be buying low and selling high. You want value. I don't think the Niners are getting value here. What they're getting is comfort. What they're getting is, we like Brock and we can put our head in our pillow at night knowing that we have a quarterback who can run our system. Well, I'll tell the 49ers, good luck. That's what I'll say. Good luck with that one, 2026 and beyond. Paying this dude this kind of money. I know the cap is going up. The TV money's kicking in and all this stuff. Maybe 5 years from now, this is just like a cheap quarterback deal. But right now in 2025 and 2026, like, I'm not really there. I'm not there with this team. I don't think it's a good decision. But shout out to Brock Purdy and his agent for getting paid, because I think any one of us would have signed that deal. And Brock Purdy, yes, you are the guy. $265 million. Hell of a day for him. Hell of a weekend for him. But as bettors, nah. Doesn't really move me. And in fact, going forward, like after this season, I want to be out on the San Francisco 49ers.